The real killer at my school was seniors drunk driving.
The world is set up to like punish outward displays of anger. Can I help you? Are you in trouble?
You don't want that heat, brother.
That's what the problem is. They don't hit their kid no more.
If there's video of that, you're gonna get in trouble.
Driving wildly through the woods. One of the kids went, "It's okay, man, I trust you."
Hell yeah.
And I remember thinking, why?
Talking about rage management, how do I, as a neural/passive guy, get more rage? I've never been punched as well. Is there a need for rage or violence? I'm 22 years old.
If you do jujitsu, that'll help you. Because what you don't need rage, but you need the because I never have rage, but you need the ability to like quickly become mannish. Because what happens is if you're cerebral and someone slights you or someone does something weird in public or someone steps on your toes or whatever, and you just let it, you take too long to figure out, you've lost.
Yeah.
Like you need to have what jujitsu will do, because when you start feeling people attack and you know that you have to counter with a certain amount of pressure, that's how you train that instinct. That's the safe way without getting head injuries of training that instinct of immediately applying like counter pressure to somebody's attack. And I haven't had any problems since I started doing I guess Muay Thai. But Muay Thai and boxing, the problem is you can get a head injury if you are not really super careful in particular about how you train, which I was, but I know everybody else that I've talked to wants to start doing that. They're like, "Come on, man, I don't care. Come on, hit me. Let's get in there." Like they're just too gung-ho about it, which is like, that's an admirable trait, but you're not gonna last long if you're not trying to minimize head injury. But if you do jujitsu, that's gonna help you minimize the time between when someone fucks with you and when you counter it with the appropriate amount of pressure. Rage is never a good idea. Rage, the world is designed to punish rage. There's never a time where like rage is a good thing. Rage Against the Machine, for example. I just remember some guy was driving and I was waiting. I was at a dangerous intersection, so I wasn't going fast. Yeah. And this guy walking who was waiting to cross the street, he said, "Hurry up, white bitch." And I immediately got out of my truck and I left the truck sitting there in park in the intersection. I just followed him, like walking. Yeah. I was like, "What's going on? Can you tell me what the just explain to me what's going like that type of And like you don't need like rage does not help you. Rage is always a bad look. Like if you get out of your car and you're like, "Come on, motherfucker! Come on, motherfucker!" That's how you know you're in. That's a problem. Yeah. Because if there's video of that, you're gonna get in trouble. You're also letting the person know your intention is to like amplify raise the stakes in the situation. It's just really bad. You don't want to do that. But what you want to do is you want to just be like, "Can I help you? Are you in trouble?" What do you, like that type of thing, like just very assertively. Yeah. My thing that I like to do in a road rage situation is assertively asking, "Can I help you?" Yeah. And I've never had to say anything more than that. "Are you in trouble right now? Do you feel safe?"
Jesus Gomez says, "Sam, any tips to control my anger? I got kicked out of high school for my outbursts and recently fired for assaulting my supervisor. I wonder if it's hard to fit in due to my mom fighting schools from putting me in special ed."
Damn. I think the problem's with them. I think it's everybody else's problem.
You just gotta not rage, man. You gotta be the special ed teacher that you never had, and stop raging. But the world is set up to like punish outward displays of anger. There's really no scenario where you're gonna be able to get away with it or coast along if you're a rageaholic. So you have to stop. I think usually if you feel more in control of your circumstances, and you can do this even if you're poor via diet, get your hormones under control, sleep, stuff like that. You start getting your life under control, you'll feel less out of control. When I've felt close to that sort of rage, it's because I felt like there was something outside of my control, stupidly. It might only require you identifying it as a problem. You know, there are certain things that you can fix them just by naming them.
Wear a helmet and wear a bracelet that has a loud clicking thing on it.
But the real killer at my school was seniors drunk driving.
Yeah.
We lost like mad people. That was the only thing that hit my town.
The town over for me,
Mm-hmm.
there's just a dead kid every time. Just
Yeah.
in like always in like super dramatic fashion.
How awful is that? Can you
It's
imagine
terrible. I know, but
raising
it's
a
like-
kid for 18 years and then they die in some stupid
like
shit?
drunk.
Talking about Burrville?
God, Smithfield. It's like girls like rolling over on the highway,
Yeah.
flying out of the car and like
Yeah,
kid driving into trees, like into houses, like once a year. It's like, vroom,
yeah,
like
movie accident. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Tango and Cash.
every time.
Well, we had more than one. We had, I think, 2 kids died trying to get air.
Yeah.
2 separate occasions.
Okay.
It's because 295 is so easy to speed on.
It's because it's so much fun to get air.
It is fun to get air. I get it with my kid on dropping off to daycare in the morning down the road that all the kids die on.
I remember one time I got that Evo that I wrecked not in high school, a little bit after high school, but I remember picking up these like 2 drug kids from like another town, like at the town over where they did have drugs, picking them up and then driving like wildly through the woods, like terribly.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the kids went, "It's okay, man. I trust you." And I remember thinking, why?
I know the feeling. You remember driving with the who was the best? It was like the guy who drove. You were probably doing something like this. You were like
I
double
drove
clutching.
so bad. I mean,
Was it?
It ended in an accident that almost killed somebody.
Not that time though.
Not that time, no.
But that time you might have been on your game.
That time I was on my A game.
You were
yeah.
Gran Turismo 4
I
that day.
definitely was, yeah.
But some days you weren't.
With Tokyo Drift.
I trust you, man.
Why?
Why?
Sam, you've been like, I can't die while driving.
Well, now I'm much more safe now. I mean,
Yeah.
when I say I can't die, I'm joking.
I know. It's
I
funny.
never exceed.
But I believed
limits.
you. I believed you in that moment.
You can.
I had a dude that was a buddy of mine that had 2 brothers, and both of them died like a couple years apart in the exact same way, driving like 100 miles an hour. We had a bump where you could try to get air into like in my hometown,
That's awesome.
and they both died on that spot like a year apart.
It's a portal.
And then the other brother died from pills like 5 years later. So once pills hit, like I don't know, like
Pills?
everybody was taking pills. Like, well, because it's not just pill, right?
Yeah.
They'll do like a pill and get drunk, and then decide to go get air. Right?
Yeah. Go to the portal. Go catch their brother in the
I gotta go see my brother.
He's in the other dimension. He just sent me a page.
What a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean that's
When you have kids, you got to make sure they're driving a Raptor.
a Caterpillar
Yeah.
bulldozer. They're driving a killdozer only. Like impossible to.
Expedition with a roll cage.
Yeah, battle bots.
An external roll cage on the daily.
Sam, I'm dealing with they, thems in my college class. Should I call it by the proper pronoun?
Oh, dude, you just gotta pretend and ride that out. You don't start a war.
Yeah, be cordial.
Yeah, pick your battles. Just get out of college ASAP. You don't want that heat, brother.
Sam, advice for dealing with female family who are feminist-minded. I'm the man of the family and want a wife, but their selfish makes me want to avoid it. How do I balance this without creating drama?
Female family. If there's a family member that is bothering you, you just lie to them. And with feminists, I like to do the. I just like to run the old "I'm more feminist than you" bit.
How does that go?
Well, this is actually Nick's joke, but I do use it if I need to. If there's a feminist, like tell me something about how you went to a protest the other day for women's rights. Just go ahead and say that.
I went to a protest the other day for women's rights.
Yeah. My mom was a feminist, and she was, better than all of us. She 3 kids. On top of that, computer programmer. On top of that, legendary female rights activist. So something to shoot for.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I said anything.
Yeah. So when you encounter a feminist, you just say that you know a feminist that's more hardcore.
Yeah.
But you got to be real serious about it and talk. Yeah, that's crazy. I remember when my mom was working with NASA scientists programming the first Voyager launch codes, and she was the only female on the team. And back then, being a feminist really meant something. Just let that out there.
Well, my mom performed double mastectomy on herself with no anesthetic,
in the Vietnamese jungle.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to deal. If you ever encounter somebody that's on some bullshit like that, just say you know someone who's more hardcore and has more credentials than them, and like brag about it. That way, you show that you like the stupid little thing that they have. You value it. You value it even more highly than them, and what they've done is not impressive. Yeah, gay rights. I remember I had an uncle who was there in the 60s when it really mattered. And yeah, he was on the streets and you couldn't tell him. So what you guys are doing out there, he would give you a nod. He'd respect it. But he died from AIDS back when that was the real thing that people died from. So I guess that's what it's like to be a real gay activist. But you guys are good.
You're good.
You guys are good. He would approve.
One of the things that black people do that's just such a massive L and is irredeemable is when they're like, that's what the problem is. They don't hit their kid no more. You got to beat that boy.
Boy, if you don't get your ass on.
Yeah.
You know what I like? I've seen a lot on my TikTok is black people calling it out.
Yeah.
Being like, yo, it ain't funny, bro.
Did you see Dave Chappelle and I think D.L. Hughley?
It means you can say what you want as long as you're willing to deal with the consequences. That's right. Like you could talk however you want to your mama when you was a kid as long as you were willing to get the taste left out of your mouth.
Right, right. My mother didn't, she didn't hit. Anyway.
That's pretty crazy.
Nice.
That's good, yeah.
That is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Just
That's
making
good.
D.L. Hughley look like trash for 2 seconds.
Well, I mean, what I saw was
They have to stop doing that.
it's one of the talking points of like new younger black dudes that are like, yo, we gotta like stop normalizing hitting your kids. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've heard it like just like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You're on it.
They should.
Yeah. I mean, we don't see it as much up here. I think it's a big South thing for real.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I mean, I didn't see it a lot, and I played a lot of pee-wee football with black kids. I saw neglect. I remember like my buddy Mike Williams' mom never picked us up when she was supposed to, so I would be at a payphone, half a mile away from the football field with our football pads, calling my mom to come pick us up because Mike's mom fell asleep again. I saw like neglect like that. Him eating sand crabs for lunch that they found at the beach.
Damn.
Like raw neglect. So Mike stayed over my house a lot, and we'd play Nintendo and go in the pool and so it was all good. But I didn't see like ass whooping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just truthfully. And then when you play football, you hang out with black kids a lot. They're always over your house, parties, pizza, and like that. But it was really just that mom showing up late and shit like that. It was always the mom picking them up wrong and like logistics just not being on their side. And my mom kind of losing her mind a little bit. Like, what the f is with this bitch? Like right to the to the kid's face. I'm like, damn, mom, easy.
I remember my first girlfriend when I was like 14 or something. Her mom would drive us, and she would drive with a Solo cup with Bud Light in it.
Whoa!
And like talk about it like jokingly.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa,
that's wild.
And I told my parents about it, and they freaked out.
Yeah, good.
Man, you got good parents, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I like Chris's parents. That's wild.
And
that is wild. I don't think I've ever heard of it. Like, that's not a Rhode Island thing.
Yeah.
Like driving around with cups of beer is big in the South. Up here, we don't.
Yeah, it was a cup of beer.
Anyway, that's fucking wild.